For 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome back. I've enjoyed serving with you. Let me just say this, that the SPR release amounted to a blip in gasoline and diesel prices. Prices did go up, as Mr. Turk said, and will continue to go up as demand increases throughout the winter months. But it will go back down. They'll go down when the weather warms and demand decreases, at least for a little while, until we get into the summer vacation travel season. Then demand goes up and prices will go up as supplies are used up. But one thing the administration did was acknowledge that these are basic economics of supply and demand. The way to address this energy crisis is by increasing supply, not stifling it, which is Democrat policy, stifling energy production in this country. Now, the title of this hearing is Pipeline Reliability, but Democrats really don't like pipelines. That's obvious. They shut down the Keystone Pipeline. They shut down the pipeline the gentleman from Michigan talked about. In fact, they shut down the Atlantic Coast Pipeline. There's an article here that says that Congressional Progressive Caucus have been successful fighting restrictions of natural gas production through fracking and blocking natural gas pipelines, including Atlantic Coast Pipeline. Senator Sanders celebrated efforts by progressives to cancel the ACP. Another example of Democrats not liking pipelines is the fact that there is no pipeline really taking available natural gas from Marcellus up to New England states. The lack of the pipeline requires, because they have a thirst for energy in New England, but they don't like looking at the wind turbines off their coastline. They don't want pipelines because they think that gas might be frack gas, which they don't like, so they're going to import gas from Russia and Africa and other places, import it to the United States. LNG ships sit in the Boston Harbor providing dirty Russian gas, African gas, to New England. The thirst is still there for the energy. The thirst to use natural gas is still there. They just don't want American gas through a pipeline, reliable or not, as the title of this hearing is. Mr. Glick, are you familiar with the letter sent to you by over 40 Democrats on 5 January 2022?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I've got the letter here, and it raises concern with the effect that anticipated increases in heating and energy costs will have on their constituents this winter. We're all concerned about costs that energy costs have on our constituents. Now, I agree with another point in the letter, that low-income households face a higher burden when dealing with increased energy costs. In fact, Republicans have talked about this for a long time. There are certain sources of energy that cost more to produce, and that's wind and solar and other things. So their letter addresses that. The letter demands FERC investigate whether market manipulation rather than environmental agenda or supply constraints is causing natural gas prices to rise over 30% on average for consumers last year. You're not supposed to use the word hypocrisy in Congress. I was told that when I first came here, but this is very hypocritical because there's same policies of limiting offshore drilling, ending leases, not wanting to have hydraulic fracturing, not having pipelines to bring the gas where the need and demand is, using dirtier burning Russian gas to heat in the homes and produce electricity. All that's hypocritical. It's also hypocritical to try to say that there's market manipulation when the administration is shutting down production in this country, while at the same time promoting energy sources that cost more to produce. And that cost is pushed down to the lower income people that they're talking about here. Hypocrisy at its finest. You know, the Biden administration's revoked the permit on Keystone Pipeline, halted all new federal oil and gas leases, greenlighting the completion of Russia's Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Another hypocritical thing. Same Democrats are concerned with high energy prices for their constituents, championing blocking our natural gas pipelines. It's just amazing. So, Mr. Glick, do you agree that pipelines are the safest method to transport oil and gas?
That we are not in the business of examining safety of natural gas pipeline transportation.
Well, I do. I'll just stop you there. I get it. We have an abundance of natural gas here in the United States. Marcellus, Bakken, Barnett, Eagle Ford. I could go on and on. I also think through innovation, not over-regulation, government mandates, in the energy sector, we continue to lead the world in oil and gas production as well as reduce emissions. I think Europe is going to find that them being beholden on Russia for their energy sources once the Nord Stream 2 adds to the Nord Stream 1 pipeline that brings gas there, and Vladimir Putin continues to use that as a lever of policy and political influence, they're going to wish they had U.S. LNG ships and terminals to offload that in Europe. Anyway, I'm out of time. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes